The playoffs are here, and you can predict the action all the way to the finals with FanDuel Predicts. Predict the spread, the total points, and even the game-winning moments that make the playoffs. Sign up and get a $25 bonus with FanDuel Predicts.
Offered by FanDuel Prediction Markets, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant. 18 plus bonus is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Trading derivatives involves significant risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Manage your activity with their consumer protection tools. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/predicts/bonus-offer-terms.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me, taxi. Okay, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Well, the king is in town.
Boy, is he ever, John. And he addressed a joint session of Congress. I just want to say it was nice to see Congress unified and applauding. And together.
Did everybody applaud, or did anybody sit down?
I don't think if there was, it was very few. I think everybody stood, and he gave a great speech. And also, I want to say a funny thing Donald Trump said when he was sitting next to him at the White House, because Trump spoke, the president spoke at the White House, and he said, it's so great to see you. My mother had a crush on you. So there are just these beautiful warm moments. And also the king, boy, I wish he was the king and the prime minister, because he talked about the great relationship between the U.S. and UK, and also said NATO's got to step up, but also the value of NATO. So he was very much a diplomat too, which is nice.
Calling in right now, we have Jeanine Pirro, the United States Attorney for Washington, D.C. Well, Jeanine, I can call you Jeanine because I know you for a long time. How's things going?
Hi. How are things going? Well, the one thing I can tell you, Rita and John, is that my life is so much busier. It is nonstop. It's around the clock, and it is, it is a very challenging job that I find very exciting. And for all the reasons that I made to the decision to come here, they are being fulfilled every day. I wanted to go back to my roots, and that's what I'm doing. However, the nation's capital seems to be the place where people think that they should come to express their political violence. And unfortunately, last Saturday night, it was like a combat zone, and the president was in the line of fire. And we've got to make sure as we go forward that the president is protected. 3 times in 3 years is far too much. But also that the violent rhetoric is ramped down. My job, however, as the U.S. Attorney, is to put together a solid case, which is what we're doing with with the prosecutors in my office, working around the clock at the Joint Operations Center with the FBI and other agencies, Secret Service, and of course that night with the Metropolitan Police as well. To find everything we can to get a digital footprint on this individual, Cole Allen, to find out, what his intent was, although it's pretty clear in terms of that manifesto or his so-called rules of engagement. But, there's a lot going on, and it just never stops.
Judge Jeanine, I was going to say about the manifesto, too, is really, that's chilling when you see it. Talk about what was in that, because people don't realize what a threat that was to the president and everybody in that room.
Well, I think, Rita, that the manifesto makes it very clear for me as a prosecutor that his intent was to kill the president, and that's why I made the decision to file the attempted assassination of a president of the United States in violation of 1751 of 18 U.S.C. That manifesto makes it clear who he was going for. And although bizarrely he seems to exempt certain organizations, whether it's, I don't want to kill Kash Patel, or I don't want to hurt people in the Secret Service, or, I don't want to hurt any of the people in the audience, the servers and the hotel employees. He says, if I have to, I will, to get to my target. And of course, he also wanted to assassinate the cabinet officials from the top down. Did he
have enough bullets?
He had a lot of stuff. He had he had a 12 gauge, Mauser pump action shotgun that he bought in October of 2025. He also had a 38 semi-automatic. He also had, additional cartridges, and he had knives and other, paraphernalia. But I think even more significant is the fact that, he made the decision to rush into the ballroom, or at least attempt to rush into the ballroom, when all was quiet outside. And, we were all comfortably in the ballroom, as I was. The president came in at 8:00, and, we're assessing, electronics to figure out, how he was determining whether or not the president was actually in there and seated. He made the decision, of course, to make a reservation at the Hilton Hotel not long after the president indicated publicly on March 2nd that he would be going to this White House Correspondents' Dinner that he hasn't attended in several years. So everything that he did, circumstantially corroborates what he wrote intentionally.
Jeanine, so far, I have 5 different TV sets at home. I'm watching all the news channels, Europe and everything. Who is this guy? I mean, is he a Christian? Is he a Jew? Is he a Muslim? I mean, do we know any details yet?
Well, the FBI and the Secret Service and all the federal partners have been working around the clock from the time this happened. I mean, from whenever it happened at 8:40 on Saturday night, and at this, we call it the JOC, the Joint Operations Command Center, and everything is being sourced, and we're going and visiting his family members, as well as trying to get access to his digital footprint.
Jeanine, I know we have short time. Did he have security clearance when he was working at NASA?
I have no idea about that, but what I do know... Because
if he had security clearance when he was at NASA, then he had access to the intelligence agencies, or the intelligence agencies had access to him.
Well, here's the thing. We'll find all of that out, John, but the truth is, the Hilton Hotel is no place to have 2,500 people sitting ducks in a ballroom with the president at the head of the ballroom and every cabinet official there. It just isn't. I mean, it was public information. He didn't have to have special security or top secret clearance to find out any of that stuff.
Yes.
He was a scrawny. I was in court yesterday. He's a scrawny individual, very thin arms, very tall. If you saw him, you wouldn't even remember him.
Really?
Wow.
But, he came out of that room. He first comes in, guys, and he goes into a side room. He's got a trench coat on, and he comes out with a trench coat, and he kind of assesses what's going on and whether or not it's clear outside the ballroom. And there's just very few people other than security. So he goes back into the room, takes off his trench coat, and then comes out like a bat out of hell, carrying the Mossberg and all of the other weapons. And he was one determined individual. And by the way, security worked. I'm tired of hearing it didn't work. I mean, what do they expect Secret Service to do? You're in a public hotel.
Now,
right.
I got Craig Eaton who's going to give you the last question. But before that, have we found out who shot the sheriff? I mean, the Secret Service guy. I'm thinking of the song, Who Shot the Sheriff?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
that's a good song.
I know. Well, that's something that, we're looking into, and, we're pretty close to a decision on that. I decided not to put that in the complaint, but you can rest assured that all that will be sorted out by the time we get to the indictment.
Craig Eaton.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how did he get into the building and so close to the event? But I think you just answered that. But I think maybe we just need to expand the perimeter. Like maybe we need to be checking people at the front of the hotel when they're going in, or do something. We can't let people get so close to the president.
Well, and he went down stairwells, right? Jeanine, he went down 10 flights of stairs.
Yeah.
He went down the stairwell. He made the reservation to stay at the hotel the 24th, 25th, and 26th, which kind of tells me maybe he thought he was going to get out. It was easy. Look, the hotel occupants needed to have the ability to walk around the hotel also. So he knew what he was doing. He cased the joint ahead of time. He traveled across the country, from close to Los Angeles, from the 21st to the 23rd. And he got to Chicago, and then from Chicago he gets to D.C., and, he had a lot of time to think about this, and he carried those weapons with him. So this guy was determined to do what he was going to do, and thank God the Secret Service and the police stopped him.
Thank God. And Jeanine, I think one of the most powerful moments, and I know how much you appreciate the men and women of Secret Service, that guy who stood on the stage right in front of the president, was willing to take a bullet for the president. That said it all. Judge Jeanine, we love you. We love you. I know you got to catch a train.
I love her more.
No, I do. Yeah. I love Judge Jeanine just as much. She knows that.
I miss you guys. I miss you. Thank you so much. Let me go back to work.
Thank you. Keep up the great work. Thank you.
Born on America's darkest day of 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been helping America's heroes ever since. Heroes like FDNY Lieutenant Edward J. McDonough Jr., a Marine Corps veteran and lifelong public servant. After 9/11, McDonough served at Ground Zero. He later lost his life to a related cancer, leaving behind his wife Kimberly and their 5 children. Tunnel to Towers honored his sacrifice by paying off the family's mortgage. Donate $11 monthly and amplify your impact with a car or land donation. Go to T2T.org today.